Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm trying to beat 100 pawns with one nuke. To give myself a fighting chance, I'm putting Martin in charge of the pawns, and the nuke moves like a queen and a knight for any distance. Let's get started with game number one. Game number one, we do have one nuke on the board. Now normally this thing lights up the board when you select it because it has a lot of mobility. Unfortunately, because we are surrounded by 100 pawns, you can see it can't get very far. This, however, is the least of our concerns because Martin has promotion in two different ways, which would immediately deliver checkmate since my king is fenced off by these pawns. Despite having a literal nuke on the board, there's pretty much nothing I can do to stop those ideas. So I do think, I'm going to make the argument at least, that for the first couple of moves, I kind of have to gamble my nuke and try and get rid of these couple of pawns, and then from there, maybe I can stop this wave of pawns from absolutely destroying my king. I mean, it's literally like forced mate in two. I guess I would have to give up my nuke, but we'll start by gambling the nuke. Let's capture. I mean, does it really matter who I capture? The problem is if I take on the back rank and Martin does anything but push like one of these two pawns, I'm either getting check and then mated or I'm getting promoted on. A lot of overthinking for a pretty much forced position, so I might as well just start by taking something. I forgot that Martin can promote to stuff other than just a queen. Okay, wait, that actually is great news. Okay, so he starts by promoting to a bishop. Never underestimate the ability of Martin to come up with the funkiest move on the board. Critical error of judgment on my part. Okay, we do get promotion to a bishop. I guess I should just keep taking pawns. Ah, nice. Okay, he does actually promote to a queen this time, but I can actually take it. Not to mention, all of these moves are still mate in one, but instead we get this pawn push. Still nowhere for my king to go. Despite having given up two pawns, I guess you could argue three in a sense, there is still this fence that I have to worry about because it is still mate in one for my king. Is there anything I can do about that? I guess I can continue taking pawns. Oh, we do get promotion to a rook. There is only one legal move. You can see if I highlight my king, there's nowhere I can play. The only things I can do are to move this nuke back. And hopefully, okay, Martin does not take it. I think I have to go for it. I think I have to take these rooks. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, he is pushing on the other side of the board. I will continue to take these rooks, and we do get this check, which is kind of a good thing in my opinion, because now I can move my king out of the way. I can always get forced back onto the back rank. You see that it sort of creates these escape squares. So I will push my king forward. Oh, okay, immediately get pushed back. I'll have this open to me. Check again. Okay, and he finally does push another pawn. All right, we'll grab this bishop. It's really concerning because if I get checked like two more times, I'm almost getting mated there. But this is really out of my control. I just have to grab material where I can. He does promote to a bishop. I wonder if I take. Would he take back with the pawn? Hopefully not. I'll try and snag this bishop. Oh, thank goodness. In fact, like I said, I just can't underestimate Martin's ability to find the funkiest move on the board. He pushes the pawn instead, so I'll take this pawn instead of worrying about its promotion. Okay, rook promotes. I still have very little mobility with my nuke. I'm also wondering if at some point it would be worth it. You can see I can actually capture this pawn right here. I'm wondering, because it can move like a knight for any distance, I'm wondering if it's worth it to throw my nuke into the position and try and gamble it until I get checkmate. The problem is, the only ways that I can check this king at distance are like a knight, which means from one of these squares, which means somehow I would have to get rid of these squares supporting pawns. So for instance, let's say that I wanted to checkmate from this square. This pawn would not be an issue to get rid of. This pawn would. Because if I were to capture this with my nuke, Martin would have no choice but to take back. So I don't think there's a way for me to get rid of that pawn and deliver that mate. So, okay, I guess I have to hang back for a little bit longer. We get this very Martin-esque move of the rook shuffling over, and I really am gambling the game every time I pull one of these little moves, but it's Martin, so at the end of the day, he's gonna give me a lot of free material. Okay, we've done a pretty good job of clearing up this back rank. I feel like I can play a little bit safer now. I'm a little concerned about these pawn pushes though, because all he has to do is string together a couple of pawn pushes in the same general area, and I'm kind of back to square one. The king is forced to the back rank, and there are again mating ideas. Now the upside is, since Martin is relatively similar to a random piece mover, and he does have a bazillion different moves that he can make, the odds that he takes back on any one of those given moves is already pretty darn low. So I will keep taking. Yeah, and I don't think he's ever going to take back. At least the probability probability that he takes back is so low that it's almost zero. So I will just continue to munch on these pawns. Thank you, thank you. Ooh, okay, he's starting to open up a little bit. Now, the other thing to keep in mind is that there are so many pawns that I do have to take that eventually, even though the odds that he takes back are pretty low, eventually, just by random chance, he probably will take back. So I think what I'm going to do is grind through maybe 3 or 4 of these rows of pawns by literally just hanging back for a moment. Okay, I haven't quite made my way through 3 entire rows of pawns, but I thought it was worth stopping to make the point that you can see I've created enough holes in the position that there are a lot of free pawns that I can take. So now my risk of Martin ever capturing back is effectively 0 because I have no intention of ever giving him the opportunity to do so. I can continue to maneuver my nuke in such a way that I target free pieces. Oh, I guess I'd have to move back once more. I haven't gotten terribly good. Yeah, I missed it by 1 tempo there. I haven't gotten terribly good at my board vision with the nuke, but you can see the general idea is hang back, wait for free pawns, and then take them when they eventually present themselves. The other thing is there are a lot of pawns that are only defended by 1 other pawn, which means the likelihood, or at least the probability of him taking back, is much lower for... Oh my goodness, my heart skipped a beat for just a second. I was going to say the probability of him recapturing when it's only defended once is lower than when it's defended twice. He does elect to move this pawn, but luckily it's to a free square. Let's target all of this free material and pick it up. Now I will grind through a lot of these free pawns as they start to present themselves. Now let's hold on for just a second. We did get this king movement forward. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that changes all that much, because even if I were to get this nuke onto the back rank and then, I don't know, take a pawn and give check, ultimately what's going to happen is he's going to be forced to return to e8 anyways, or I guess g10. Let me put these on the inside. He would be forced to return to g10, I suppose, at which point he would basically become inaccessible once more. So we're going to hang on to this strategy for a little bit longer. Okay, the other thing that I'm keeping my eyes peeled for is the opportunity to get onto the back rank, or at least behind the pawn structure. That's a strategy very common in horde chess, which is a variant of chess where there's a whole bunch of pawns versus a normal chess setup. And basically what the normal setup wants to do is get behind the pawns because there's literally no way for them to defend themselves. So I'm looking for like a sequence of like knight movements that would get me onto the back rank. Now I can't quite do it yet because we have this like double lineup of pawns, and the sequence of knight movements does have to be linear. So I can't just choose, for example, there was some confusion on how the nuke moves like a knight for any distance. You can't just string together any sequence of knight moves because that would make literally any square on the board accessible. So for instance, this nuke can move like a knight, but only linearly. The knight moves have to be back to back, and then it can access F1. But anyways, I am keeping my eyes peeled for that because if I can get to the back rank, I'm actually going to sweep all of his pawns off the board. Oh, okay, so I could do this, but I'd have to put my nuke on L6. It's been a minute since I've done anything risky, so might as well. Okay, sweet. We get onto the back rank. It is literally just hungry hippos. It's a little bit of a concern. Let me grab this, and then go back. Okay, cool. Now it's hungry hippos. Oh my goodness. Okay, king forward. Hyper amusing move because now I can move back to, I don't know, K10, basically the back rank, and I'm threatening this pawn, which should I capture with my nuke, I give check like a knight, I cover like a queen. Oh, there would be this escape, but then I slide back and capture this pawn who would then be undefended because this pawn is gone as well. Check like a knight again, cover the escape square like a knight, cover this square like a queen, and that would be checkmate. Nice, we get that pawn movement forward, we'll take with check, and that is checkmate. With that, we do defeat 100 pawns with only a single nuke. If you guys did enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. Let me know if I should try this out in a different format. I had the idea of making the pawns sort of like a checkerboard pattern. So instead of being compact row by row by row, they'd be spread out across diagonals and there would be gaps in the position. That way, if I wanted to play against Stockfish or a very strong engine at least, I would have a fighting chance without the engine just, crushing me under the force of a billion pawns. But that's just one idea. If you guys have any others, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.